The Eminence in Shadow, episode 14, Your Lie, Your Wish. So this episode's basically going to be a giant fight in the beginning, and then the rest is just story exposition, pretty much setting up for the next arc. So yeah, we finished this arc with the Archbishop, and then we're basically setting the wheels in motion for the next one. In this one, we start off exactly where we ended the last one, with Olivier stabbing our boy Cid through the chest, or at least through the heart. Everyone believes, this is a death blow, except for Cid, who smiles and says, "Gotcha." And this is when we see Cid's craziness in action. So basically, you think, oh, he's going to unleash like some giant ability or something. Instead, what he does is he grabs Olivier, pulls her in close, and then bites her neck. You might be thinking, at least this is what I was thinking the first time I was reading the manga, is I was thinking, oh, he's going to suck some of her blood, and then now some of the blood of the Chosen is going to be within him, so now he's going to be able to pull the sword out and break the chains. But instead, he just rips a huge chunk out of her neck and kills her, or at least shatters her. And that's when Cid explained that humans are very durable, that they can take blows to the chest, like they can get stabbed in the torso and stuff, as long as if no major organs are damaged. And that's how he was able to take that sword to the chest. And I'm going to be doing some comparisons to the manga. That's just because the manga is what I'm all caught up on. I have some of the light novels, the ones that were officially translated, but I haven't caught up with them yet. So yeah, I haven't gone this far in the light novel. So I'm going to be doing some comparisons to the manga. There is one scene from the manga. I don't know if it's in the book, but it's in the manga. It's not in the anime. That was really cool. It's just like really short one panel image. But as Cid is explaining how humans can take a beating, basically, as long as you protect your vital organs, a bloody Cid walks up to Nelson and puts a bloody hand on his shoulder, basically smearing his blood on the Archbishop. It doesn't do anything, like he's not using this and he's going to like use some ability on the Archbishop or anything like that. It's just a pretty cool visual. And I'm kind of surprised that the anime didn't do it, because the anime seems to want to focus more on the badassery that Cid is, and not so much on the comedy. Not to say that there isn't comedy in this series, because there's a lot, but there's actually way more that just doesn't make the cut. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised. Like, they want to make Cid look so badass. Why not have this one moment? Like, it looks pretty cool in the manga. But eventually, Nelson explains that it doesn't matter that you're able to defeat Olivier, because that wasn't the true Olivier. That was just like a shadow of her. And then basically a bunch of clones of her appear, and they all attack Cid and start cutting him down. And that's when Cid starts slicing them back and revealing that he has magic. He has a slime sword. And he basically explains that the reason he's able to use magic in this area, even though magic is supposed to be gone, as we saw in the previous episode, the Shadow Guard members were losing their slime armor and stuff because their magic was being zapped the closer they were to the center of Sanctuary. And right now, Cid's in the middle of Sanctuary, so he shouldn't be able to use any magic. Cid basically just does like this bullshit explanation where he's been cultivating magic the entire time he's gotten in here. And if magic is being sucked away, then all you gotta do is you just gotta make your magic so you gotta temper it to be so tough and so solid that it can't be drained. Yeah, he's just cutting through the Olivier copies. We do get some moments that are kind of interesting, where we see like Olivier. She's like, this anime seems to really love their low camera high angle shots of women from behind. So I mean, we basically get like an upskirt shot of Olivier. Yeah, you get that fan service shot. Basically, Cid goes super atomic once again, or I guess I should say he goes all range atomic and just blows up everything. He blows up Olivier, all the Olivier copies, Nelson, Sanctuary, the chains, like just everything gets blown up. The city ends up getting flooded, and yeah, that's how Sanctuary gets destroyed. And we have this interesting moment where we see the left hand of Diabolos with chains wrapped around it, and it's coming towards Cid. And then we cut to a shot of Cid's eyeballs, and in the reflection we see Aurora coming towards Cid. So that should kind of give you a hint about who Aurora is, but if not, this episode later spells it out for you. So yeah, Aurora is Diabolos, for anyone who hasn't guessed that already. So Lord Diabolos, the big bad villain in this entire series, the villain that Cid's trying to defeat, or at least Cid's not really trying to defeat it, he just kind of made it up. But Shadow Garden's trying to defeat Diabolos. They're trying to destroy the Cult Diabolos and stop them from bringing Diabolos back. So yeah, Diabolos is Aurora. So we actually have this moment between Cid and Aurora where she's kind of lovey-dovey with him and basically is kind of surprised about how he was able to take, a stab to the heart. And he says, it's just like I said, you just got to protect all your vitals. All I did was I moved my heart so that when she stabbed me where my heart should be, my heart wasn't there. So yeah, Cid's just basically OP bullshit magic. But yeah, she thanks him for destroying Sanctuary and bad memories and stuff. And Cid asks, are you going to disappear? And she says, yeah, I want to apologize. I told you 2 lies. One of them was that you wandered into Sanctuary on your own. But the truth is that I was the one that called you here. And the other lie is that I actually want to disappear. But now I have a memory that I don't want to lose. It's the memory that she has made with Cid. And so she thanks him for this precious memory. And I think she goes in and kisses him as she's disappearing. And she says, if after I disappear, if you manage to find the real me, and she leans in and we never hear what she says. But anyone who's read the manga, I don't know if in the light novel we get to hear what she says, but in the manga she says, kill me. She doesn't say anything here in the anime, but yeah, basically she tells Cid, if you manage to find the real me, kill me. And so, yep, Sanctuary disappears, Aurora disappeared, Cid is back in the real world. The anime doesn't have it, but there's this just funny moments. I don't know if they will put it in the anime. I mean, it's not important at all. It's just kind of a funny little moment where everyone's kind of wondering about what Cid's doing. So basically, we get the moment that we get in the anime where we have Princess Rose, Alexia, and Beta. And they're talking about, what happened. Alexia basically says, I'm the Princess of Midgar. Rose is the Princess of Oriana. And Beta, with all her fans and stuff like that, she can have a huge network of spies and stuff. So why don't we form a pact together and make an alliance? We'll recruit allies, we'll establish a base of operations. Basically, this whole situation has opened up Alexia's eyes that there's so much more out there in the world that she has no idea about. So many secrets in the shadows, and she wants to figure them all out. Princess Rose agrees to join. Beta agrees to join as well. So yeah, I believe this is a plan from Shadow Garden to recruit Princess Rose and Alexia at some point. At least Princess Rose for sure, because later on we see that Princess Rose is suffering from the possession. She has the same disease that all the other members of Shadow Garden once had. But yeah, we get this moment in the manga. It's not shown in the anime, but they form an alliance. Alexia says, let's work together and protect those dear to us. We see Alexia, she's thinking about what's dear to her, and she's thinking about her dog. Rose is thinking about Cid, and of course Beta is thinking about Lord Shadow. And they're all wondering, I wonder what he's up to now. And this is where we get just this weird, funny moment where Cid is doing this serious dash. He's just sprinting across the forest, and he's running so fast that he runs past a bear and ends up killing it without even realizing it. It's just this funny moment of Cid dashing and this bear's getting killed, and Cid's did I just run over something? So it's moments like this where in the manga, I don't know if they're in the light novel, but in the manga it's just a one panel kind of throwaway little gag, and the anime doesn't really have them. There's comedy in the anime, but not as much as in the manga, and I'm assuming not as much as in the light novel. I want to say that maybe the manga is more faithfully adapting the light novel, but I'm not caught up with the light novel, so I can't be 100% sure. Not to say that the anime is terrible or anything like that. It's just I kind of wish that they would have more of just these random, funny kind of gag moments. It just kind of gives a charm, and I just love the fact that like Cid's so overpowered that just him running is strong enough to kill a bear. But yeah, we have the Shadow Garden members, and they're basically setting up the next arc, which is going to be a real estate bubble. They're going to buy up. So because Cid destroyed Sanctuary and ended up flooding the city, property value has dropped. So Shadow Garden's going to swoop in and they're going to buy not just a plot of land to create one store, but they're going to buy all the land around the area so they can just fill it up with all their stores and make a crap ton of money. So this is kind of setting up for the next arc. So yeah, we just get a flashback about how it's kind of sweet to see all the Shadow Guard members like when they were young. Like, they're just so like adorable looking. But we just see them like how much of a family that they are. So it's just like a nice little sweet moment. And then the sweet moment basically turns into a perverted moment where we have Alexia and Iris in the sauna. And thank you, Reddit, for compiling all these fan service shots that I'm just going to put up. Because I'm like, what shot should I use to basically show what's going on in this scene? And yeah, we get all these fan servicey shots. And there's just a bunch of them. And it's kind of funny because it's like, it's supposed to be like the serious conversation that they're having where Alexia is informing Iris about what's been going on, about all the suspicions that's been going on, about how the previous archbishop was working for the Cult of Diabolos and he was murdered by Nelson, who replaced him. And he's also a member of the Cult of Diabolos before Nelson was kind of destroyed. And how basically there's just a lot of shadowy things going on. And how they should do something to stop it. Their father doesn't want to do anything because he doesn't want to ruin any kind of alliances or anything like that. So Alexia and Iris are basically saying that we gotta find enough evidence for our father to support us. It also kind of sets up that maybe the dad is also with the Diabolos Cult if he's not willing to do anything because he doesn't want to rock the boat. So yeah, it's like this very serious conversation. It becomes even more serious where Iris starts saying that the knights aren't really happy with her, and she can understand why because she created this special group to investigate Shadow Garden and all, the Cult Diablos, and she took like some of the knights' best men, and they basically died on their very first mission. So yeah, things aren't going well for these two sisters. Again, it's this very serious conversation, but we just have a bunch of fan servicey shots. And the thing is that, so before I complain that there's not enough comedy. And I know some people can say, well, if you have too much comedy, you can undercut some of the seriousness in the series. Kind of like what Disney's been doing with their Marvel and Star Wars movies, where you don't have any weight to any of the dramatic moments because you immediately undercut it with a joke. And I can understand that, even though The Eminence in Shadow is not supposed to be serious whatsoever. It's supposed to be a comedy. I can understand having comedy kind of undercut and ruin some of the weight of some of the big dramatic moments that happen. However, so does fan service. And this is coming from someone, I don't have any problem with fan service whatsoever. In fact, I'm one of those people that is very much against censoring like fan service and stuff. Like if the original stuff has fan service, then keep it. That's the way it was intended to be. But I just find it kind of weird how in this series, it's trying to be serious, but it's also trying to give a lot of fan service. And the fan service doesn't really help in this moment. Like you can have some of the fan service afterwards, like after all this big heavy talk, because we're going to get a moment that I'm going to talk about in just a moment with Alexia. That's kind of comedic. So you can do the fan service there to kind of like alleviate some of the weight that some of the dramatic moments was. But moments like this, where you have them talking about how there's this big, giant conspiracy going on behind the scenes of the world. And they're trying to figure out what's going on. And no one wants to help them. People are upset with them. Their dad's not willing to budge and help because he doesn't want to rock the boats. Iris has lost a lot of men on the very first mission, so now she's feeling like a failure, and also just the weight of, her leading people to death. And as they're having this serious conversation, just a bunch of fan service shots. So it's kind of like, okay, you kind of already just destroyed your serious moment with the fan service shots. And we get a lot of that in other stuff as well. Like I mentioned before, we'll have a fight scene and we'll have like low camera high angle shots between like women's legs, so you can see like up their skirts, you can see a bunch of ass shots, you can see just a bunch of stuff like that. And again, I don't mind if you're doing that if it's kind of like comedic, if it's a comedic fight or whatever. But when you're having like a serious fight, when you're having serious scenes, it kind of destroys some of the levity of the seriousness when you have just a bunch of fan service right in your face. So, yeah, this scene was just kind of weird. It's like, I don't know what you guys are trying to do. Are you trying to, the audience, like, oh man, this is like some really serious stuff that they have. Or are you trying to make the audience horny? Like, choose one. You can't really have both. You can't have your audience be horny as well as like drop in a bunch of dramatic, serious, tense moments. It's just, yeah, so that was kind of weird. And eventually we get a moment where Alexia rushes out of the sauna because Iris is like questioning her, like, why did she go into sanctuary when she was just there to monitor the situation? Like, I never ordered you to put yourself in a dangerous situation like that. And of course, Alexia doesn't want to answer her, so she makes an excuse to get out. And so she runs into the bath area. And we have like this moment of silence, and then we hear this slapping sound. We hear like one slap followed by a little moment of silence, and then another slap. And Iris is just like, what the hell is that? And we don't see it, but basically Alexia is doing the towel snap on herself that Cid did in the previous episode where Cid was towel slapping his own ass. So yeah, Alexia basically starts doing that. She starts towel slapping her own ass. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So again, just like a cool fight scene in the beginning with Cid and the Olivier shadow clones, I guess. And then Cid going all range atomic. Anytime Cid goes atomic is awesome, especially since like just the way he says it in English. I am all range atomic. And then the huge explosion. And then just a bunch of setup. Just a bunch of setting up for the next arc. I'm not sure if the money bubble arc is the next one. I think is the next one the next one is like a tournament arc, I believe, where Cid ends up joining as in disguise. I believe that's the next arc, and then we have like a vampire arc, and then we have the money bubble arc. Yeah, the next arc is a tournament because Iris mentions the tournament coming up and how she wants to win it so that she can gain more influence and maybe be able to like recruit people and prove to her dad that there's something going on that, you know, force him to make a move. So yeah, the tournament arc is going to be the next arc. But there you go. There's Eminence and Shadow. Oh, and then of course we get the ending with Rose, where we discover that she has the possession curse that all the other Shadow Garden members have, which should kind of clue you in on what's going to happen with her. Hint, hint. But there you go. I thought this was good. I like this episode. Again, I kind of am hoping for like more comedy bits and stuff. I doubt the bear scene's going to be in the next episode. I'm hoping they don't cut out the Delta scene. There's a Delta scene with a giant mammoth in the manga. I'm hoping they don't cut that out for the next episode because it just shows how adorable, but also how like psychotic Delta is and why she is the best girl and we must protect her at all costs. But yeah, the series so far, it seems to almost want to kind of lean into the fan service and serious moments and just kind of sprinkle in some comedy bits, whereas the manga, and I believe the light novel as well, at least what little I've read, it's more comedy focused with just a little bit of seriousness sprinkled in. So it kind of seems to just be like a flip of that. You tell me if I'm wrong. Again, most of this I'm going off of the manga. The manga is very comedy focused. You tell me if the light novel is more comedy or more serious. The anime, I would say, is more serious. I would like more comedy, but all in all, I have been really enjoying this series so far. I think it's good. I like this episode. I enjoyed it. There you go. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope to see you next time. Take care. Later.